CertifID, Digital Badges und Kompetenznachweise. Der Tim Miller wird den Vortrag halten und wir werden jetzt international. Tim Miller wird das Ganze nämlich jetzt in Englisch machen und wird uns darüber berichten, wie diese Lösung hier jetzt wirklich dazu dient, das Recruiting zu verbessern. Und wenn ich richtig sehe, wird das in Asien schon ganz intensiv genutzt. Aber ich denke, darüber wird Tim jetzt reden. Bitte schön.
Yeah, sorry for, oh, that's loud, I'm loud, sorry. Yeah, so it's very nice to be here. It's nice to be presenting in person for once. It's been a long time coming. So I live in Cologne, I've lived in Cologne for a while, but my German is still improving, so I will do this in English, but I will be happy to answer questions in a mixture of languages afterwards. So a little bit of background. So CertifID was founded about 2.5 years ago, and one of the main reasons that it was founded was my background in international education, so from an educational perspective. So working in markets like Australia, Dubai, India for a number of years, and then coming back to Germany and seeing lots of challenges around recognition of qualifications and bringing trust to international markets and international recognition of documentation. So from a problem statement perspective, we came back to Germany and we said, you know, what are the challenges in terms of filling skills gaps? And one of the things that comes out a lot of the time is, I can't find the right people in Germany, I need to go abroad. Europe is already a saturated market from a talent perspective, but I have no idea how I'm going to go outside of Europe to look to recruit people in specific disciplines. And one of the biggest challenges around that is, how do you verify credentials and understand what education someone has, what skill set that they have, and how do I bring trust to the process, or at the end of the day, reduce risk in the process of recruiting somebody into my operation. So this was the kind of founding premise as to why CertifID was formed. And what CertifID is today is we've built 3 independent but interconnected service portfolios, or service products, if you like. We have Credential, which is a digital credentialing engine anchoring credentials, which I'll come into in a minute, credentials onto blockchain technology. So using that from a trust and verification and transparency perspective. We have SkillPass, which is a digital wallet, a digital skills portfolio anchored on the European framework, so the European Skills, Competencies and Occupational Framework, which enables people to store digital records, own digital records, and continue to build their digital records to be relevant in an international marketplace. And the third component, TalentSure, which has now come back to life with the end of COVID, so also an interesting startup journey. But TalentSure basically takes the verifiable data, verifiable profiles of candidates within the network that is SkillPass, and enables them to be matched with jobs, matched with further education, and solve the risk component of recruiting people from international markets. So in a little bit more detail, so Credential is, as mentioned, it's a digital credentialing engine. It's a software as a service product that is very much standalone in its own right. We work predominantly with the educational industry to issuing certificates, particularly regulated certificates, but also moved into the world of badging, so looking to use the technology to bring more awareness around credentials, share credentials, build data and analytics around credentials that are shared online. And all of this, of course, anchored on blockchain technology. And I'll come to how we work with blockchain in a little bit more detail going through the presentation. But what's interesting with this technology and what we're finding now more and more is that although we started with education, there's a lot more use cases that are coming into play now. So I think it was mentioned that later on there's a discussion around carbon credit certification, for example. So we have a couple of active projects in carbon credit registries using blockchain technology and issuing carbon credit credentials using blockchain technology. We work in the product certification business, so ensuring the authenticity and anti-counterfeiting potential of product certification, audits, and so on. So the product is evolving into different use cases with the same baseline technology. Interoperability is a major component of what we're working towards. Again, I'll come back to that in a minute, and I share a lot of what Mirko said earlier in terms of interoperability opportunities and challenges that there are in the market. For us, we've focused on a number of different initiatives to try and ensure that we have as much harmonization and cross-market recognition as possible with the qualifications that are anchored onto blockchain. We also work with open badges, so the new 3.0 standard, which is something that is quite important and still evolving, and W3C and others, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So from a skill pass perspective, this really is, in its simplest form, a digital portfolio of skills and competencies, starting with blockchain-anchored certificates from CertifID or other, so again, interoperability of the wallet itself, so enabling people to store verifiable credentials with transaction history, issuer history, recipient history, and so on in a single source location. And we've built into that a range of other functionalities, so CV generation tools, video CV, references, background checks, and so on, some of which are already anchored on blockchain technology, others which are not. And it doesn't have to be everything, but it's definitely in the roadmap to say, to bring more trust and accountability, particularly when you're looking at markets outside of the European Union, as much of that as possible if you can instantly verify and have, importantly, transparency about the background and the information of those credentials. That's what we're looking to drive. There are a lot of features in this which I won't go into so much. We have inbuilt learning management systems to guide people using AI technology, intelligently saying, if you're looking for this career, these are your skills, these are the next steps, these are the training partners you should talk to, all resulting in verifiable qualifications that come back into the skill pass. And I'll come into use case later. TalentSure, again, is utilizing that overview. So at the moment, we have about 200,000 people with verifiable skill passes in 3 or 4 main industry sets, so healthcare, construction, IT and the automotive industry. So within that portfolio, you're able to utilize that for different business models. And we've worked on different business models to enable recruiters to access the platform to view and source verifiable candidates, taking away the pain point of, the first 30, 40, 50% of verifying candidates before going through the recruitment process, and then also offering that as a service from our side to optimize recruitment and reduce risk. So in order to kind of bring it really to life, to show how the whole platform interacts with each other, so I wanted to give you a use case which is very active right now, which is the recruitment of nurses from international markets into Germany, just specifically for India. So within the nursing landscape, I think it's quite well known. There's huge skill gaps in the German market at the moment. There's a tremendous shortage of healthcare professionals, especially with the impact that COVID brought onto the market and the interest of people to also going into this profession. And at the moment, there's nearly 200 days to fill a nursing role. What has been happening over many years is that, again, nurses from Poland, nurses from within the European Union have been supporting the German labor market. That is stopping. There's just not enough resource available. So again, the opportunity to go abroad is very much necessary. So what do we do in this perspective to show you how it works from a CertifID's technical solutions? So what we offer as a platform is very open. So the goal is to enable different partners to utilize the platform at different angles or different elements of the platform to optimize services that are brought forward to the market. So what we have done within the CertifID perspective for nursing, we've partnered with Apollo Hospitals, which is India's largest hospital chain, and by footfall, so number of patients going into the hospital, the largest hospital network in the world, is using the CertifID platform to issue verifiable credentials for all their training programs. What this results in is a dedicated community which is verifiable, which has a huge number of people in it, which you can then guide and grow in terms of different qualification requirements. For example, and I'm a good case for this, in order to work in Germany as a nurse, you need B2 German. You need to have B2 German. So a huge component of the continual development of nurses within the landscape, again, building verifiable credentials, building qualifications, building documentation, and building information is partnering with different players. So we partner with Goethe Institute, for example, in India, to bring verifiable language qualifications into what is Skill Pass. And what you end with at the end of the day is a verified portfolio of qualified nurses meeting German requirements, simplifying visa application processes, simplifying onboarding in Germany, simplifying the actual recruitment process, which enables nurses to, at the end of the day, speed up and reduce risk in the journey of transitioning from one market to Germany. And to show you the bigger picture why this is so exciting and why we're very passionate about this, this is a use case for healthcare. And you can imagine this in some others, and we're working in the automotive industry, which has similar engineering requirements and aligned with IT, and IT is everything these days, but aligned in those spaces. So the way it works in a map, yeah, and it's always interesting to try and put this together. So Apollo Hospitals, India's largest hospital chain, utilizes Credshaw to issue all their credentials. Credentials meaning nurse degrees, bachelor degrees, master's degrees, diplomas in general nursing practitioners, upskilling courses in nursing, credit points to maintain your qualifications in nursing. All of these certificates and credentials are issued utilizing the platform, leading to a dedicated portfolio of, at the moment, about 65,000 healthcare professionals with a skill pass, which they can use to optimize and continue to grow their portfolio, becoming more attractive to international markets, adjusting to changing regulatory requirements in terms of the skill sets that are required and the qualifications that are required, continue to learn from wherever that learning may happen, storing all the information in a single source. That single source is then made available to recruiters in Germany. So again, the other side, we partner very closely with TÜV Rheinland, for example, who have a service called Global Experts that source, at the moment, 600, 700, 800 nurses per year, but expanding very rapidly for the providers that you can see on the right-hand side. So at the end of the day, you have an end-to-end chain founded and built on the foundation of blockchain technology for transparency, for trust, instant verification, taking counterfeit out of the market, which when you're talking about markets like India is a very real and challenging prognosis. So all the while reducing risk. From a blockchain perspective, and this is the last slide in terms of what our journey has been with blockchain, and I think unlike the journey I think some of the other presentations have, we started the journey without blockchain, and we said, how do we bring trust and transparency into this, which is a key component of ensuring that there is the ability to reduce risk in the labor market, and we chose blockchain technology 2.5 years ago as the core technology to enable us to grow on this journey. So from a development perspective, again, and I think Mirko mentioned it a lot of times, we started in the Ethereum world, started doing POCs with Ethereum. We then transitioned into Polygon, again, more scalable, more relevant to the sector that we were looking to work in. We started working in optimizing operability and multi-blockchain support for the technology that we offer, enabling us to switch in and out depending on changes in market, in dynamics, in scalability, in threat levels, and many other things, resulting in the fact that the majority of our certificates and credentials are issued and anchored onto Polygon at the moment. As mentioned, we implemented open badges at the end of last year. We're doing a lot of research at the moment and proof of concepts in W3C and other standards. So again, one of the biggest challenges we have operating internationally is this constant shift of regulatory compliance topics. So coming into the European Union and what the European Union is doing, both in terms of credentialing, which is one topic, and blockchain with another topic, there's a challenging mix which is constantly pushing the boundaries of what as a startup we can do to keep up to speed with regulatory changes. SSI is a major topic for us. It's something that, to be honest, in its pure instance, we are experimenting with. We have a wallet solution, but we have a long way to go to say we have an SSI wallet. But for sure, that is the direction we're going, and we're working on proof of concepts in terms of how we can really change the wallet structure we have into an SSI compliant structure. We want to bring, as I mentioned, lots of different components onto blockchain. So we're already working on references and reference checks. Background checks are already being implemented in proof of concept to anchor into the skill pass that we offer. And then by the end of the year, we'll be launching that new version of skill pass, which will have a new technical approach and also a new look and feel. So that's our journey. Again, I hope it was interesting in terms of another use case and another direction. And I'm happy to answer questions as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tim. Yeah. Any questions on this? While you're thinking about a question, I found it very interesting when you've shown the funnel. Yeah? When you started with the hospitals in India, and now you go on to all the different German organizations. Was it more difficult to educate the people in India to use that, or the German companies to accept this skill wallet? Yeah, because now all these people come along with the skill wallet, and what do the German companies say? Hey, what's that? Or do they understand it?
No, I mean, to be honest, I think in Germany, I think the concept of the wallet and having everything digitalized in one place is a great thing. Never any questions around what that is. I think when you talk about the blockchain component and say it's all anchored on blockchain and verifiable and it's distributed and there's no way of manipulating the data, so it tends to fly a little bit over the top. But I think the core premise of having all that data in one space instead of piles of documents or scheduling a first round interview here or doing something here, I think that logic is very, very clear. In India, it is and continues to be a journey of teaching. Yeah? So it's really teaching the market and helping them to understand what blockchain is and why it's so important. That will not stop.